Hi world, it's the 27th of December 2024 and this is my video for the new moon that's coming up on Monday. So it's going to be taking place at 10:27 p.m. UK time on Monday the 30th. That will be 6:27 a.m. on Tuesday the 31st if you're in Singapore, or 2:37 p.m. on Monday the 30th if you're in LA, 8 hours each way. Adjust your time zones as necessary. But Greenwich Mean Time, UK time, 10:27 p.m. UK time. Now, this new moon, Sun conjunct Moon at 9¾ degrees of Capricorn. Okay. Well, what's going on in the sky at the time is relatively tame but looming. There's a Jupiter-Saturn square, but it's separating. Jupiter is still going retrograde, Saturn is still moving forward, and the square is separating. It won't come back together in terms of exactitude until the middle of next year. It's still ongoing in the background, points to an ongoing economic reshuffling around the world. There's an ongoing square from Venus to Uranus. This is fading out, it's separating, it will be clear by January the 1st, January the 2nd. I don't really see that as a big deal. To my mind, the empowered aspects in the chart of the new moon are twofold. Firstly, the Sun and the Moon in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, are applying to a sextile to Saturn. At the time of new moon, it's about 5 degrees away, so it's weak. But over the next few days after the new moon, it's actually quite strong. So I kind of like this. It's particularly good for those people born around the 4th, 5th, 6th of March, September, December, June, because it's going to bring a bit more clarity and structure into the ways that you're pruning, weeding, streamlining and clearing out the detritus and the rubbish from the last 9 months. And then there's two other factors happening. The new moon is a couple of days before the second of 3 oppositions from Mars to Pluto. Mars is retrograde in early Leo. Pluto is moving forward in early Aquarius. And at the new moon, the opposition from Mars to Pluto will be 1¼ degrees. Now, because Mars is retrograde, as opposed to moving directly forward, I don't see this as a massive challenge to any new developing situations in the world. _new. I see it instead as a time of much greater internal reflection on the part of a lot of individual people, both people like you and me, and people in positions of power and responsibility. When Mars is retrograde opposite Pluto, there's going to be a lot of internal examination of issues around structure, power, control, dominance, and there'll be a lot of questions asking, am I being manipulated? Am I a manipulator? Am I a control freak? Am I being controlled? Mars opposite Pluto inevitably brings up situations around power, disempowerment, anger, and with the retrograde pass, this is a time where a lot of that energy is going to be directed internally rather than externally. So there's going to be a lot of critical self-examination over the first 2 or 3 days of the new year. Now, the exactness of the opposition comes on the 3rd of January, which is also the day that Mercury will clear its distance from its recent retrograde period. So the Mercury retrograde shadow will end on the 3rd. Now, I don't think we're all going to get away with Mars opposite Pluto without anything happening. It's too strong. So I do expect the new year collectively to start with a bang. But I also feel that it's going to be a one-time situation, not something that's going to then have long-term repercussions, unless that one-time situation involves the US of A. And my reason for saying that is because, of course, in January and February in January we get the confirmation and I forget the word, not the crowning. It's not a crowning. The new president will take office. So I do believe that a lot of the world's attention is going to be focused on the US of A the more we get into January. Nevertheless, the chart of this new moon suggests that over the period of the 30th of December through to about the 4th of January, maybe the 6th of January, there's going to be some type of short, sharp, explosive development that's going to have quite a degree of ruthlessness and acerbicness about it. And that it's likely to surprise a great deal of people in the world. But I stress it is a one-time standalone event, unless you're in America, in which case the reverberations will then last for a much longer time. This is nothing to do with the events that I've forecast for later in the year. I know that Mars will oppose Pluto one more time, this time moving forward again around about 2 or 3 degrees of Leo and Aquarius, and this will happen in April. But that's after what I see as the biggest astrological time of 2025, which will be in the last 3 weeks of March. And there's a lot more on that statement in my global video, which should be released to the world this Sunday. Global 2025. It's going to be a big year. We're entering now, as I speak, the last 3 or 4 days of 2024, and it's been a tumultuous year. New moons are supposed to be times of fresh starts and new beginnings and seeding and hope. And with the new moon loosely sextile Saturn, which is ruling the sign that the new moon is in, that gives cause for an element of common sense and groundedness, yes. But there's a Mars-Pluto opposition going on. So there's going to be something like a hot knife through butter, cutting through, sharp. But it's not representative of a large-scale picture. It's not representative of the global dynamic. It is a standalone situation. So don't get too distraught if something happens in early January and start thinking, oh my God, that's the year ruined. There's much bigger things at work in 2025. Meantime, it is new moon. The sun will conjunct the moon, as I say, at 10:27 p.m. UK time on Monday, the 30th of December. So it's a moment of stillness. New moon is always a time to be still inside oneself, even if it's only for half a minute. Just to hold that center core energy of solid stillness inside oneself as a moment where you can just for a few seconds, you could think, okay, I'm linking with everything there is in a position of quiet calm. That's going to have a homeopathic effect on recharging your soul, rebooting yourself, charging your batteries, and getting you ready for the new year. It's going to be a fast start to the new year, and then it's going to die down until we get into March. So don't let the start of the new year destabilize you. Don't drink too much, or if you do, have fun. Just be still around the new moon. Catch you later, world. Bye. Bye.